Okay. All right, I think we got it. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. How are you this morning?
I'm glad. Hi, Khalid. So
Hi, how are you?
good. I got in right on time.
Good deal. No, I'm really glad that we worked out. I always like to be there like 15 minutes early to because you know how technology is. Sometimes it just doesn't work the way you would like it to work. And so,
Yeah, same
yeah.
here, same here. But I something happened with the Zoom. But we're in and we are
Yes,
recording.
yes, fantastic.
We are still going to, it's just 12, so we're gonna wait for some
A few
more.
minutes. Yeah, sure. Yeah,
At
let's do that.
we have 11 participants so far. Hello,
All
everyone.
right.
And I'm trying to, and I will admit as they show up, Kalim.
Uh-huh.
So you don't have to worry about that.
Okay. No ding dong bell, right? It's always the thing. Yeah.
Wonderful. We have 15 participants. Yeah, this is great. All right. I think I'm gonna admit a couple more. There we go. I think Robin, we got it. Don't worry. I was frantically telling Robin I can't log in, but we got it. Okay.
Good deal.
So we're gonna go
So,
ahead and start. We are recording. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. This is, I believe, our sixth session of the Launchpad. And it seems like we have more and more participants each time. So that's very exciting. We got this group together, or these sessions, we put it together thanks to Robin's idea. And what we try to do in these sessions is to help all coaches that are potentially opening or just open their own business, created their own coaching business. And so we can learn from experienced coaches, from their pains, from their growing, paths, from the lessons they've learned throughout their journey of creating their own business. And we do this once a month, the second Monday of each month. And what we do is a presentation. So we have one experienced coach today that I'm about to introduce. And at the end, we leave some time for Q&A. And that's where we get a lot of great information from the experienced coach or anyone else that might have an answer. So this is more of a, let's learn from each other
mhm.
and hopefully all, can take something away and put it in practice. I'm Elena Sarango Muñiz. I am an ICF member since last year, since I started my own business. And I'm here to learn as you are too. And I am excited to introduce you to Kalim, who is presenting for the first time to this group. And we are so looking forward to learn from you, Kalim, this morning. So please go ahead and take it away.
Good, good. Thank you very much, Elena. By the way, I am not Elena. And let me tell you why, because if you look at my name tag, it says Elena. I am Kaleem Sayed. So yeah, somehow I have the access for as an alternate host. So that's why the name shows up that way. I would like to welcome you to this session. It's going to be very interactive. I don't like to read from the presentations, and I think it's going to be question and answer. But what I like to do is allow me to walk through the presentation, and then there'll be plenty of time to ask questions, right? So a little bit about me. I have over 30 years of experience in corporate America, working for companies such as Black& Decker, John Deere, Mercury Marine, Bell Helicopter, BP, oil and gas. So oil and gas, aerospace, consumer products, and so forth like that. It's been a great journey, so to speak. I've done expert assignments, one in China for startup plan for Mercury Marine. And also I've stayed in Chihuahua, Mexico for a couple of years. So yo hablo español muy poquito. But it's been a good journey. Journey, why? Because, we deal with people, and people, they have they eat different food, different time zones, different dialects, language, culture, and so forth like that. But at the end of the day, we still are human beings, and we really want to wish best for ourselves and our best on the family, and we want to grow. I have been with Lee Hecht Harrison and Ezra. Lee Hecht Harrison has a platform called Ezra. And I don't know if you guys know much about that, but I will share with you a little bit more about that as well too. So I've been with them since 2016. I'm certified PCC with ICF. Also, I'm a Hogan assessor as well, along with 360 profiler as well. So I tell you, it has been a humbling experience, going through and working with folks. So I have two roles. At this point in time, I do career consulting with LHH, but I also do executive coaching and leadership development training as well too. And so with that, I am going to start my presentation. But before I do that, I have a couple of questions. What are your expectations for this session? What do you want to get out of this? And if you want to unmute, that's fine. If you want to write in chat, Elena is going to monitor the chat as well too. Anything?
Hey, Kaleem, this is Chris.
Hi, Chris.
For me today, I think hearing you speak is to get inspired by your truth.
Okay. All right. Very good. What else?
I think that for me, it's just picking up all those little bits of wisdom, because I am brand new in this particular field. So it's picking up all those little nuggets of wisdom that you've gained over the years to make your practice stronger.
Yes. Yes. Thank you very much for that question. Anybody else? Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Hi, Kaleem. Hello,
Hi.
everybody. For me, yes, as somebody said, I'm a newbie. When I say newbie, about 2 or 3 years, but I'm primarily a trainer and now into coaching as well. So yeah, I've started, but then I haven't really started, It's like, it's just baby steps, but sometimes I like confidence. So that is what I'm looking for.
We definitely will talk about that as well. And I'll tell you some stories about myself, right? And how I use my stories with my clients, and how they gain. They open up the space for me, to allow me inside that space. And so we'll talk a lot more about that as well too. Anybody else? Any other? Yes, please.
Hi, Kaleem. I'm Roshmi Dalal. Very nice to have you as our presenter.
Thank you.
I'm really looking forward to hearing more about just making peace with yourself as a coach and the practice that we individually have, and, just being in the space that we are in our business today.
Wonderful. Yeah, definitely. So we will talk about that. And let's see what you have done.
Please have on the chat a roadmap, and what have you done right that has worked in your business?
Yeah, exactly. And we'll talk about that and a lot more, right? My goal here today is to utilize this time very wisely, because you have invested this an hour, right? And you want to take away something, and I will do my best to do that. So with that, I'm going to go ahead, and I have a 7-slide presentation, right? And I'll speak to that, but I will leave most of the, you may have some answers in those presentations on the slides, but also we'll talk about the, essentially the question and answer that you have. So with that, let's talk about, we are at ICF Houston chapter, and I love the topic, working as a contract coach. So contract coach can be a number of things, right? As if your own company and or working for a company like I do with Ezra, and of course I have my own coaching company as well. And so my company's name is Calci Group LLC, and let's talk about that. So topic today is number one, what is contract coaching? So a couple of definitions about that. Things to consider in contract coaching. The third one is establishing your company. Some of you may want to endeavor and want to start your own business. Excuse me. That is very important. And then contract coaching opportunities. Where do you develop your business? Where do you get the opportunities? And I have some clue on that one as well. And then we are going to talk about do's and don'ts. Then I have on the sixth slide, I have number of assessment. We ignore a lot of times because there are so many different assessment. And so I have identified a few assessments that I have used. And then last but not least, we have some questions. With that, contract coaching is, it can be like I do with Ezra. Basically, I am on a contract with them, essentially, but I also have my own company. And so if you're trying to start your own company, starting a contract coaching business requires very much planning, a strategy, and execution. Why this is important? Because you are the marketer, you are the deliverer, you are the accountant, you are the invoicing person, right? If you look at the value stream from the front end to the back end, and especially it can be very difficult to work in the beginning because you're doing everything. And so time management becomes very, very important in that, right? So what is contract coaching? The companies, it could be an organization, it could be a nonprofit, could be, different companies, they hire a coach. And why I say organizations, because there are companies and nonprofit organizations, they also hire coaches as well too. They hire an individual coach. Why? Because for a specific period or time, a scope of the engagement is very important. What do they expect their people to gain from coaching? What are the goals and objective? Who sets the goals and objective? Would the client company do that, or would the people that they have sponsored will do that? What is the duration of time? That is very important and crucial. Why? Because in many cases, sometimes if you offer a one-time free deal just for people to come in and take a look at what coaching is all about, they will come for the first time and they may have a session or two. So maybe my engagements are typically anywhere from 4 months to 6 months. Smallest I have is about 3 months, and you need the 3 months time to help other people. It's very difficult to just have a 1 month coaching session and 2 sessions, and it's very difficult to get the results. What are your fees? How much are you going to charge? If you're just starting out, what the scale should be? As you get more experience, what the scale should be also, and what the market demands. So you may expect $400 an hour, but the market is not ready for you. So you have to negotiate and say, what is the going rate for the market, where it is, what organization it is, and so forth like that. And of course, there are always other T's and C's. One thing I should mention to you, in all of this, confidentiality is very, very important. And so just we'll talk about that too. So what does the coach do, right? The coach helps the people within the organization or individual, by the way, as well too, for leadership development, career development, improving communication or self-development. There are a number of ways the companies hire you as a coach. So this is generally the contract coaching. What are the things to consider? Well, define your niche. That is very, very important. Do you want to talk about executive coaching? Do you want to talk about business development coaching, leadership development coaching, or a career transition? I am both. I'm a career transition, but I don't call it a coaching. It's more of a consulting, because people ask me questions and I answer those questions because they don't know. They need to know that. So yeah, but I use my coaching approach even in consulting as well too. Business coaching sometimes has become very prevalent. Nowadays, I have a colleague, her name is Ann Houston, and I'll share that information. And she has found a niche. You know what that niche is? The niche is that she has few people that she worked in corporate America before, and she found small businesses, mom and pop businesses, that they are handing over from dad or granddad to the younger generation. They need coaching because their dad or granddad, they haven't told them everything. Even they told them how to run the business, they did it the way they ran the business. So these are the people who are looking for guidance and looking for coaching. It's a niche, and that that can be done through word of mouth. You have one client and you help them, and then the younger generation. When I say that, they are much more apt to receiving coaching versus the previous generations, because they really want to compete in this market. Develop your coaching skills. Of course, having an ICC certification, whether ACC, PCC, or MCC, always helps, right? And you can you are all coaches, so you know the struggle or the efforts it took really to get those certification, because why? It sets you apart from others, and that is always important. When I was going for ACC versus PCC, I said, okay, very few people have MCC, a little bit more than few people they have PCC, and less have ACC. So there are a whole lot of people who don't have any credentials, right? So I chose to go with ACC and then PCC. Of course, I gained a lot as I was studying and I was coaching. So I have over 1,200 hours of coaching, and it has been a humbling experience to work with the folks that have given me this opportunity to do that. One of the important thing is building your brand. You know, we talked about in resume part, what is your brand? Or when we help people in interview sessions, one of the questions we always ask, tell me about yourself. And that's where the opportunity comes, because the brand changes, right? When I was working for corporations, my brand was one way, but now that I am purely in coaching and consulting, my brand is very different, and it's okay. The key is, how do people know you in the business of coaching? And that is very important. So develop a strong brand that reflects you, your values, your expertise. That is very important. Don't forget your expertise, right? Because we talked about that. There's a certain niche that you have. And what is your selling propositions, right? What is unique about you that you offer? And I'm going to share a secret sauce about that. As a matter of fact, I'll leave it to the end. And that is very helpful. It has helped me tremendously as I learned what people like to do, and how they can allow me in their space. So create a professional website, obviously, logos and marketing material to establish your online presence. This is very important. Market or services, right? How do you do that? By developing strategies. Strategies, I use that word quite a bit because that is important. Without a strategy, nothing happens, because you don't have vision, you just don't know, and you don't want to just do it because somebody said so or so forth like that. So create a content, and I'm not a very good social media person, by the way. So yeah, I had to look for somebody else to help me out in that regard. Networking is the most important thing. I would like you to think about that. How many connections do you have? How many followers do you have? What kind of post have you posted lately, right? And that is very important. Who do you know in the business? Who do you know in general? You know, because I have to share this with you. I have a colleague, his name is Mark Cannonbaum, and we were having dinner one night in Lincoln, Nebraska. And he says, Kaleem, I said, who are your clients? His answer was very simple. He says, everybody, Kaleem, that you see at the hotel, at the restaurant, or the people walking, they're all my clients. And that is so true. Think about that, right? You can strike a conversation and people ask you, what do you do? And all of a sudden you can talk about your brand, who you are, and what do you do? Do you have a business card? And that's exactly what starts conversation-wise. So yeah, people, wherever they are your clients and potential clients, I would say. Leverage social media platform to reach your target market. Very, very important. So more things to consider. Let's talk about the develop a client relationship. If I have to say one thing, I think the relationship is the most important thing. And I'm going to share a couple of items about that. So let me talk about that right now. So what I do when I get a client, the first and foremost, I send them an email. And in that email, I talk about that. I would like to welcome you to coaching. And I would like to talk about 5 things that are important. One is mutual respect. Second, confidentiality. Third is being non-judgmental. Fourth is trust. And last one, all of these things give you integrity. So I send them an email. How long do we have and how many sessions we're going to have and so forth like that. Not only that, but when I have my first session, we don't talk about deep dive into coaching at all. It's just like meet and greet, getting to know each other. And I do talk about that. There is a rhythm that I follow right after, and I'll share that with you also. So that one of the rhythm I talk about is say, hey, did you get my email? So that establishes the communication. Yes, I got the email. So number one, that is a good thing. I give my phone numbers also as well too. and that is important. But then I also talk about those 5 things. And when I talk about mutual respect and the confidentiality, even if second is very paramount, people take a deep sigh and just say, oh, that's good. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Because when they're all sponsored by the company organizations, guess what? They always think it's in the back of their mind. They think that, who's going to know about this conversation? Would my manager know? Would my HR know about this conversation? Or if you have more than one client within the company, I always tell them that I will not going to tell them that, hey, do you know Joe or Suzanne? Never, ever. My relationship with my individual clients is strictly that, right? So it is very important to have that confidentiality. And once I talk about confidentiality and being non-judgmental, they feel relaxed. You can see in the body language that this conversation is between us and it will remain that way. So yeah, that relationship is so important. Listening actively to their needs and provide personalized coaching solutions, absolutely. Now, that being a coach, that a lot of times they come in and say, hey, Kaleem, can you tell me about this? I said, what should I do? And I don't know. And really, I don't, right? So then we start the coaching process, get them into it rather than them expecting a solution from us. So deliver exceptional value. It's a big word, right? Exception. What is exceptional to you and to me? It could be one thing, and 10 other people, it could be another thing. So continually assess clients' progress. Part of that, provide constructive feedback and adjust coaching strategies. Why? Because at times this is very important, because you may have a client that is always looking for solutions and not willing to get into the coaching. So use all your coaching skills to really do that. That is very important. And expand your reach by exploring opportunities, right? Such as coaching programs, different types of coaching programs. Workshops can be part of your business as well. You can deliver online coaching as well too, by delivering some courses as well too. So that is, you are not there 24/7, but the business works for you. So think about that. And of course, corporate training sessions are very, very important once you get connected with the corporations and their procurement department and so on and so forth. Ask your clients and seek ways to innovate and grow your business to meet evolving needs. What does it mean? This means that it's very important. The clients are a great resource. They can talk to 10 people. So I'll share with you an incident that happened to me. So I was talking to a friend of mine in Dallas, and I said, hey, I'm thinking about growing my business, and I'm thinking about offering free sessions. He stopped me right there. He said, Kaleem, don't even say free. I said, why? Because as soon as you say free, they think that you should give them the money to come and participate in the sessions. It is so funny. So yeah, I decided to do something different. I said, okay, so what do I do now? So I said, okay, hey, I have free scholarships available, 5 scholarships available. If you go to the website, fill out the form, and if you're selected, you will get a scholarship. You'll get a certificate for the scholarship. You can cash in that $350 per hour certificate when you come to the session. So guess what happened? The mindset game, right? All of a sudden, oh, I have to apply for a scholarship. Okay. Then I have to qualify. And not everybody qualifies, but on the back end, of course, everybody qualifies. Then the thing is, okay, they need to have a value. Your clients need to have a value. How much is an hour of coaching worth? Is it free? So that means just no value to it. But if you say this certificate is worth $350 an hour, all of a sudden there's a value built in the mindset. Wow. Sometimes we go to the stores and it says sale, 50% off, 10% off. It's just got your memory. Wow, that sounds good. Look at it. That's the type of business we do. But as soon as you have this particular value, and then you can say, okay, I'm going to offer you this $350 per hour value, but I expect something from you after the sessions, that talk to your 5 friends and I'll ask them to come and apply for a scholarship. So that's one way to grow business as well too. So the reach is absolutely unbelievable. You can do local opportunities in the libraries, for example. You can talk about that in your own circles. You can get the speaking engagements as well too. So now, those of you who are thinking about establishing your own company, very, very important. Why? For the number of reasons, because your legal and administrative setup is important. So first and foremost, you can register the company. Do you need an attorney for that? Not necessarily. In the state of Texas, you can go to the state's Secretary of State website, and you can register for $358 at the last time I checked, but it could be more. And then think about the name that you want to use, and think about, and there is a process. And I'll share with you also where you can go to get free, absolutely free mentoring and this kind of help, to registration of the company and so forth. Identify key stakeholders for your company. I said accountant for tax purposes, tax benefits, and so forth like that. And setting up your invoicing and tax scheduling and also client management. This is very important. At this point in time, I don't encourage you, if it's just starting out, to purchase any software at this point in time. I think just start with a simple Excel worksheet that would really do a good. Quicken is a good tool as well too. If you have not used it, you can create invoices and so forth like that. Keeping good records is very important. You may need an attorney because what are the consequences? What if somebody sues you? I have not heard any situations where somebody has sued a coach for a reason, but it's a good idea to have that, right? And the last but not least, what type of insurance would you need? So working with an attorney, and you don't have any retainer, one time, two times deal individually. If you know someone, get a good recommendation from your friends, and then you can have the accountant as well as attorney. So now you're in business, right? What do you do? Obviously, first and foremost thing you need, outline your business goals, number one. Target market. And of course, marketing strategies, how you're going to do that. What is your pricing structure going to be? That is very important because people would want to know that companies that you are going to go as a contract coach to them, how much would you charge, right? So do some research, studies through your friends, and ask them how much do they charge, right? And of course, financial projections for the next 3-4 years. Why? Because you may not only do leadership development right now, but you can do executive coaching, you can do team coaching, you can do some seminars, you can do training. Lots of models are available, and though you may want to do those. So it's very, very important to talk about where today, this is where you are, what is your 3-year projections going to be? Because at some point in time, you may want to hire people to, even on a part-time basis, to have your work done rather than you doing it yourself. Because like I said before, you are the marketer, you are the deliverer, you are the accountant and all that kind of stuff. So it's very important to do that. Now, here's opportunities. Where are these opportunities? So there are a number of contract opportunities where locally, in local governments, they have tremendous amount of opportunities. City of Houston, city of Fort Bend, or other cities, they have opportunities for coaching. State also has opportunities, but that process goes with the bidding process. So you have to register with the procurement department, number one, and then you have to look out for what kind of bidding options they have for either the training or coaching. So if you are really gung-ho on coaching, but there is a training opportunity, don't let it go. Go ahead and try to make sure that what it is that, maybe you don't want to apply for the first time, but at least understand the process. It's very important. So do that. Federal government has tremendous amount of opportunities also for allowing you to coach their folks as well too. Register your company with small and disadvantaged business development area company or organization. They work with small business administration, and if you like to have presentation, I'll be more than happy to share it with you through LNA. And you can click on the business administration website, small business administration. It has everything, and the government sets aside certain percentage for women-owned businesses, disadvantaged area. We call it hub. It doesn't escape my mind, the HUB, but if you establish a business in a certain area of the city with this underprivileged, you can get the business also through hub. Minority and women-owned business, yes, there are tremendous opportunities there. However, the key is walking the process, registering with the city, registering with the state and or federal government, and it can be a jargon at point in time, but once you get registered, then you get preferences in opportunities that the government offers. Now, there are private companies, they also offer you opportunities for coaching. How do you go about doing it? But there are other companies, big companies, such as BetterUp or Ezra or Lee Hecht Harrison. It's okay. You start with small companies, mid-sized companies, because small companies, they cannot afford probably the Ezra or BetterUp. So you start with that and then try to get your feet wet in working with those companies. And then, involve their owners as well, too, as you are engaging them to get some bids and the process. But yeah, if you really want to work for BetterUp, Ezra, or Lee Hecht Harrison, for example, so you don't need the company. If you don't want to have the company, you can just apply through the resources. And if you're looking an opportunity to work as a coach with Ezra, I don't know what the current opportunities are, but yeah, please contact me. I'll be more than happy to work with you and connect you with the right people. It's very important. If you are willing to work in the career consulting portion of the Lee Hecht Harrison, they always hire part-time folks to help folks who are unfortunately laid off from the corporations and companies, to provide guidance in career transitions. And that includes lots of things. They have tremendous amount of resources as well, too. Well, you will learn a lot more about their process. And so that's another opportunity that opens up for you other than coaching. So think about this. So now let's talk about some do's and don'ts, right? Let's establish clear expectations. And that is very important, because the clearer the expectations of yourself and your company, then better it is for you to provide services and establish your goals and communication channels and a verbal contract, right? Very important. Build rapport, develop a strong rapport with your clients based on trust, empathy, and confidentiality. I can't say more about that. I have found, and someone asked this question about, how do you create a sort of connection with the clients? I have noticed in last many coaching sessions, with new coaching sessions, that when I talk about these 5 things, guess what? That's exactly what happens. As I talk about that, they are ready to get in and say, Kaleem, I feel very comfortable. I'm excited about this whole opportunity, because the way I break down, and I'm going to talk right now. So I break down that 45 minutes, actually, not an hour, of sessions I'm talking about the initial and primary meeting with my clients. Number one is that, just want to do a quick time check. Yeah. Number one, I asked them about their journey, where they have been, where they are, where they want to go, because they choose normally 3 goals. So they talk about themselves. And then for the another 10 to 15 minutes, I talk about cadence. How are we going to work? Because they have no idea what the coaching session looks like. And so I do talk about that as well. And then it just makes them aware, wow, this is interesting. And I also let them know that if you're going to ask me questions about something, I'm going to say, I don't know, but together we are going to find the answers together. And they feel good about that. And so cadence would be, what we're going to talk about, how often we're going to meet, and what we're going to talk about, and when we're going to meet, how do we leave the session, right? Who's going to be responsible for identifying actions and all that kind of stuff. So clarity of purpose is important. Clarity of the meetings are important. And this setups a report with my client, right? And focus on the results mean what? Self-measure objectives with your clients and regularly assess. That is very important. So we get a report, for example, once a month, and that talks about how the clients have rated us, right? And that is very important. So yeah, because don't think just because you have 4-month engagement with your client that is going to run. Each and every session is rated differently, and you may want to think about that. How are you going to rate yourself? Because if you're a contractor as a coach, what are the key KPIs that you're going to be using it, right? And so you want to set up some KPIs and have a response from your clients as well, too. Customize your approach, because I tell my clients, I say, I do not have a cookie cutter approach for everybody. Every client is different, because they may be a vice president, they may be a director, they may be a professional, and all industries, by the way. Could be an oil and gas, could be a financial institution, could be somebody on the West Coast and in tech industries or East Coast, whatever. Even Calgary, Canada, a consulting company, or Toronto, banking as well too. So the people come from all walks of life and all levels and all in the organization, and it's very important to sort of treat them as they are. The more the more you value them and respect them, and they allow you to enter into their space. You heard a nice book or crucial conversation, right? Read that book. It's very, very good because they allow you in their space, and I allow them in my space as well too. Why I highlighted encourage accountability is because it's very important. A lot of times your clients would want to say, okay, this is a coaching session, so fine, and we talked about things, and I get a couple of ideas, and I want to walk away. No, wait a minute, you're not going to be that easy, So what are you going to do after you leave this session, right? And so they need to have some action item going forward. Otherwise, coaching sessions have no meaning because they can see, do, but if they don't hold themselves responsible to take any actions away from the meeting, then what are you going to talk about next time? How did it work? What actions did they took? And I'll ask them if they want to share the results of the action they actually took. So empower clients to take ownership, and that gives them the ownership. And one of the things I always tell them that when they come in and say, okay, Kaleem, so what are you going to talk about next? I said, I'm sorry, but this is not my program. It is you are the owner of this program, and you tell me what we're going to talk about. You have 3 goals. If you want to talk about them, fine. If you want to talk about something else, it's absolutely fine too. I have no agenda. I'm not going to ask you that, hey, I think we should talk about that. It's very important. So encourage accountability, and I think that really helps to get it going. Don't, right? So this is a very important. So I have 2 slides on this one here. Over compromising results, right? Avoid making unrealistic promises, either to the organization and or individual clients, right? Or guarantee about outcomes, because you cannot guarantee an outcome because it depends on various factors that are beyond your control. And what are those factors? Those factors are or can be your participants' timeliness, the participants taking action on the things, participants in making sure that they are interested and taking ownership of that. That's very important. So it's very important to make sure that you don't overpromise. Impose your agenda. I talked about that. I don't have any agenda. So it's very important to respect. I respect you as a client, and it's important that I don't, whatever values or belief system I have, I never, ever do that. And that goes with being non-judgmental, right? And so do not ignore ethical guidelines, adhere to ethical standards, always, always. And I'm going to repeat myself by saying that I let my clients know that any information that we discuss will remain between us. It will not be shared with any of the HR or your manager or our company itself. And so it's very important, or colleagues. So I never share the information or to their other friends within the company, because it's a small world. All you need to say is one thing, and they can know exactly who the other person is. And so absolutely, confidentiality is very important. Ethical standards are important. What are the boundaries, that we're going to work in? I highlight something else for you and me, because at times, can you imagine having 6 sessions per day, 45 minutes writing notes? It can be mentally exhausting. So manage your time wisely. And that's what it says, prioritize your own well-being. That is very important to avoid burnout. You don't want to be burnt out. And because you got to be ready for your clients whenever they're ready. So if whether you want to have break after 2 sessions and then some more, so every individual is different. So I cannot say that, don't have 5 or 6 sessions a day, but you decide when are you best? How many sessions are you good at per day that you can have? And managing your workload is very important. Seeking support when needed, that is very, very important. Take breaks, relax at times, because you can do in a week, many, many sessions, but guess what? The following week, you can be exhausted and burn out. So you don't want to do that. So taking care of yourself is very important. Don't assume one size fits all approach. I think I alluded to the fact that every client is different, right? Recognize their needs, even though they may have similar goals, but each of them are in a very, very different situations, right? Somebody has joined the company recently about 6 months ago, and somebody has been a company for 20 years, and they may have both goals, right? Strategy development or developing other teams and so forth like that. So do not underestimate, and do not that, cookie cutter approach will work. Every client is different, and their mindset and their issues are different. So the coaching approach has to be accommodating for each of those clients. Do not neglect ongoing communication. I always share some of the information. If the article that I read, for example, through the LinkedIn or some other areas, and I just immediately, guess what? I just send them out and say, hey, you might be interested in this article. I don't have a page here, but I did have a strategy tracking. And so I saw that, and there was a beautiful table. So I immediately printed it out, and I actually took a screenshot of it, and that I may send to a couple of my clients that may be interested in it. So yeah, the book I would recommend to you as well too, by the way. Hey, even though your coach is, it's the name of the book is, and you probably heard it already, The Humble Inquiry. The Humble Inquiry, The Art of Asking versus Telling. It's a great book by Edwin Shine. And I always recommend that book because it's an easy read. Number one, people can grab it, and because it makes them a better coach, actually. So think about that. And of course, don't disregard feedback. Be open to receiving feedback, because as you're starting out, there may be some fumbles, there may be some opportunities where you may point your clients to a direct certain suggestions and so forth like that. That happens with everybody, right? Including myself. But as you grow and work on powerful questions and so forth like that, I think that really will help you to get away from that. And I know at times it's very difficult to ask powerful questions, it's easy to provide solutions, right? But yeah, that's where you have to control yourself. So then I have several assessments on this page here that you may want to be certified in, right? There are personality assessment, Myers-Briggs, of course, DISC, strength assessments such as Clifton Strength, Gallup Strength Assessment is a great one too. Emotional intelligence is EQ I 2.0 is a great one to get certified, because these are the popular ones I'm talking about, right? And so if you are certified, guess it actually increases your business, because now you can claim and say, hey, I am Hogan Assessment certified, I'm 360 certified, I'm this certified, and so forth like that. So how to interpret that, obviously. And I have a story to tell you, so I'm going to tell you now. So the way I started, I was with LHH doing career consulting. And a colleague of mine, Teresa, says, Kaleem, I think you should apply to Ezra. Ezra started in 2019, I believe in June. And I said, yeah, I didn't know much about Ezra and so forth like that. But anyway, I did send an email because I was an internal person. So I just sent an email to director. She's in UK. And I said, hey, Kelly, I am interested in working with Ezra. And by this time, I already had completed my training at Rice, by the way. And so she sent an email and she said, are you a Hogan certified? Guess what? I kept it quiet. I said, son of a gun, I am not Hogan certified. I just finished my Rice program. If I tell her, no, I'm not, guess what? She's going to say, next. I don't want that. So I went immediately to the Hogan's website, and the following month, maybe 20 days later, they were having a session in Dallas, the Gaylord Hotel near Grapevine. I went there, immediately registered for it. I came back, got my certification, Hogan assessment certified. And I said, oh, Kelly, I'm so sorry about being late on responding to you, but I am Hogan certified. Guess what? Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, I will have such and such call you and get you on board. Boom, right? And I said, this is interesting. So I learned a lot from that experience, right? I said, how do you get in? How do you get the acceptance? What the customer, at that time, Kelly was my customer. She's asking if I'm Hogan certified. There, she's expecting an answer, yes. If not, then she will have somebody else to talk to. So anyway, those are kind of some of the stories that I will talk to you about that. And also leadership assessment, yes, Hogan, right there. Hogan has a complete suite. It's not only the personality strength, but it's also HDS and as well as the MVPI. And 360, I've done several 360. They're very, very good, by the way, right? Because they really help your clients understand from their perspective, but the people who they report to, and of course, their stakeholders and so forth. So with that, I have let me see if the time is allowed. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave this here, but there's a beautiful, beautiful 2.5 minute video. If you guys like to look at it, let me know. If not, I am going to right now stop and see if there are any questions that we can take. How is that?
Maybe with a show of hands, do we want to watch the video or we save it for the recording for later? I don't mind.
I'm curious now too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see here. I am going to share my video and make sure that share the sound too. And let me know if the sound quality is not good. Maybe I can send you the link as well too. So, but this is you have to look check out this guy, by the way. He's amazing. He is the 2023 world leader for Toastmasters.
The 100 years old war. During the 100 years old war between France and Britain,
Can you guys hear okay?
Britain occupied a French city named Orleans, and the French army tried relentlessly to break the city, but they all failed. All the best general in the French army could not do it. And one day, a person named John had a dream, a prophecy, that John is the one who is going to liberate the city of Orleans. And he believed in his prophecy so much, he walked into the emperor's palace and told him, "Your Highness, I had a vision. I'm the one who will break the siege of Orleans. I'm the one who will bring you back your city." The emperor was laughing. Everybody around him was laughing, but John wasn't. He stood there serious. There's nothing funny. And the emperor looked at him and he said, "You know what? I'm not going to waste an army on you. But if you decided to leave this palace and get somebody to help you out, go knock yourself out." So John left the palace and started preaching to people, asking them to join his cause. And a lot of people believed, and they joined them. And John led an army to Orleans, and John was able to liberate the city and came back to the emperor and said, "Here's your city back. I liberated it for you." Sorry, I misspoke, because the name is not John, but June. Joan of Arc, a woman. And by the way, she was 17 years old when she liberated the city. A message to all the ladies out there. We often hear that some things men only can do. Some things only men are capable of achieving. And we tell ourselves those to the point that we give up on things that we really wanted to do just because we are a woman. Joan of Arc at 17 liberated the city where top generals failed to do so. Don't let anybody convince you that some things cannot be done just because you're a woman. You can achieve anything you put your mind into.
What do you guys think? Pretty good, right? Thank you. Yeah. By the way, this guy, you really have to see it because he's the champion, 2023 champion for Toastmasters worldwide. And I'm amazed. I want to be like him, a storyteller. Okay, let's talk about questions. Elena, you want to share?
Yeah, thank you, Kalim. So we don't have any questions yet, but please raise your hand. You have that button at the bottom of your screen. Raise your hand if you have a question. We'll go with that. If you don't feel comfortable raising your hand or being on video, post your question on the chat and I can read that for you. Maybe Kalim, thank you so much for very thorough presentation. A lot of great information that you shared with us. I've taken some notes for myself as well. We had a question early on about you sharing your approach to marketing and sales, and if you have a coaching niche. Maybe we can start with that question.
Yeah, so I started with executive coaching and leadership development. So I do two things. One is in-class training, online training as well, but also individual executive coaching because there is so much need for it right now, and people are looking for it in with Ezra, but also in my private clientele as well. And so I'm trying to get into helping students, college students, high school, yes, but mostly college students because they sometimes have no idea about what they really want to do after they graduate. So I'm trying to sort of get into that niche also. And I think that is going to be very interesting how we do that. So, yeah.
Thank you, Kalim. We have a question. Other than ICF, is there any other group or organization you suggest we should be joining, as I am a new coach and still building my network?
No, ICF is it. Just start with ICF, right? Because it's a global organization that offer tons of opportunities locally here as well too, and look at what the team has been able to do. Yeah, so start with that and hone your skills. That is the key thing. Resist where you need to resist in terms of giving responses. If you have a couple of, do we have time? I want to share with you a really good example of coaching. Would you be willing to stay for a minute or so in case if we go, right?
Sure.
And so I am a John Maxwell certified coach as well. I don't know if you know John Maxwell. Just raise your hand if you do. He's a great guy, right? Absolutely. And so I went to Kissimmee near Orlando for 4 days of training. And one of the opportunities they have, one guy comes up, one of the organizers, and say, I'm going to show you what coaching is all about. And I shared with each and every client of mine that comes with me. I said, let me share with you. Have you ever had a professional coaching before? And said, nope. Okay, so this guy, there are 2,500 people in the crowd. He said, how many people know how to juggle tennis balls? And just onesie, twosie days, hand goes up, right? How many people would like to juggle balls? Lots of hand goes up, right? All over. So he invites one person. Her name is Jennifer. I'll just give her a fictitious name. But the situation is the story is real, by the way. So he invites Jennifer and says, Jennifer, so you want to learn how to juggle balls, right? And so yes. How many balls would you like to juggle at one time? And she said, about 2 or 3 would be fine. Have you ever juggled balls? No, I've tried it, but I didn't succeed. So, okay, fine. So let's go further then. All right. Why do you want to juggle balls? I think it'd be fun because I can be a stress reliever during lunchtime, or maybe my kid's birthday party or neighborhood, kids would be very happy. And I can be stress free. He says, okay, so show me how do you juggle balls? And Jennifer goes in and juggles one after the other. And guess what? All the balls fall to the ground and she's just moving around, here and so forth. So Jennifer, what happened? The coach says to her and says, oh my God, terrible. I'm nervous because there are 2,500 people in the room, in the hall, and I'm going all over the place trying to catch the ball. And I feel like my shoulder's a little bit tight. Okay, so what are you going to do next? And she says, I need to be stable. I don't need to move around. And I'm going to be, my shoulders, I need to be mindful of that and sort of relax. Okay, let's try it again. So now she juggles the ball again. She's stable and she's aware of the shoulders. And so out of 3 or 4 balls, she catches 1 ball. Wow, Jennifer, what happened? I caught 1 ball. I feel good. really? So the crowd applauded, And then I says, okay, so what happened? What you say, I was stable, my shoulder was good, and I was able to do that. What would you do next? And Jennifer says, you know what? I think I am not keeping my eyes on the ball actually in the air, but I'm looking at my palm. Though when I transfer the ball from left to the right. So I need to do that. Also, my arms, I'm keeping it close to my body. And so it doesn't allow me to some sort of how should I say, flexibility, right? To catch the balls back and forth. Okay, let's try it again. Guess what? She tries it. She keeps the eye on the ball because now she can see how high the ball she should throw in the air to get time to transfer the balls from left to the right hand and so on and so forth. Guess what? She catches 2 balls, and so the coach says, okay, what happened, Jennifer? Well, I feel good. I am so glad that I was able to get 2 balls, and my arm movement is good. My eyes on the ball is great because that allows me how high to throw the ball in the air. So after you leave here, what do you want to do? What action would you take? So you know what? I think I need to practice. So you met your goals? Not really, but I'm very close to the goal now. But if after I leave here, I think if I practice more, I guarantee myself that I can catch 3 balls and maybe more, right? And so what would you do? So, well, maybe I can practice during my lunch break or maybe over the weekend with the kids and so forth like that. Twice a week would be great. Do you think you can meet your goal there? Yes. But guess what happens after that? The coach takes the balls and he juggles. He's a professional, right? Could he? So typically, the coach, he's the expert. He could tell normally, if you're not a coach, then say, Jennifer, you should be doing this, or why are you moving so much? Why didn't you keep your eye on the ball, and so forth like that. But as a coach, he didn't give a single indication at all to the coachee, right? To Jennifer. Everything, the shoulders, the arms, the eyes came from the coachee. Because the coach would not have felt what she feels in her arms or or her shoulders and so forth like that, or moving around, even though he was watching it, but he didn't say that, hey, you shouldn't be moving around, just be stable. And that's the beauty of coaching. And as soon as and this gentleman did it, and it was fantastic. So I share this example especially when my clients, they haven't had the opportunity to have a professional coaching. And as soon as I share this example, immediately they get it. I mean, literally they say, Kaleem, I got it. I know what coaching is all about. Now, still, they got it. However, when they come to the next session, they still may say, what should I do? But that's okay. The key is, well, do you remember that scenario about ball juggling? Yeah. Okay. All right. So you get them into the pattern where you ask powerful questions. You make a use of the silence that they are going through when you're doing brainstorming or something else. And that is the key. The more you do it, the more you practice, and the more you allow them, and they allow you to enter in their space, I think it's a beautiful journey. It's a beautiful dance, to be honest with you.
Thank you, Kaleem. Sharon says, great analogy. Roshni has her hand raised. Roshni, you want to ask your question?
Yes.
Yeah, Kaleem, thank you again. I mean, such great information and such a very thorough, comprehensive outline for many of us, not only beginner coaches, but I've been coaching for about 5 years as an ICF ACC coach, very close to being a PCC now. And so much of what you said resonated with me in terms of my learning experiences. But, we continue to learn, we continue to have our challenges. And one of the most recent challenges, I mean, I have so many questions for you. I'm trying to prioritize which one's most important. But I have a client, 2 clients in the River Oaks area. They're actually a family that coaches with me. And they pay me very well. And the work we've done so far is fantastic. And they want to renew, which is great news. But a couple of things that get in the way of our coaching is that they have a problem with committing. They have a problem with being regular with their sessions. And also, I'm pretty confident in my pricing. My pricing has gone up over the years as I become a little more comfortable as a coach. And they have recently come back to me and said, you're so expensive as a coach. So I just want to pick your brain on how do you handle situations like that?
Thank you for asking the question. So number one, show them the value. Has it helped you? Go back to when they started and look at what had happened, how much they have been able to help themselves and improve. So show them. That's why, remember, we talked about measurable results. And so talk about that. And if they really think that this is valuable, there is a value for them as they're growing, because it is not today. This kind of things will help them for 5 years from now. And so take a look at that. If you can make some sort of a promotions, maybe that, get another person in the family, and like you said, and then have a package that way. So there are a number of ways you can articulate that, but show them the value of coaching. That's the biggest bang for the buck you will get.
Thank you. And just to sort of add on to that, as far as commitment, how do you handle clients that have a difficult time committing to a regular schedule with you?
Yes, and so luckily I don't have that issue. At times, at like an hour before the session, they will say, "I'm sorry, I had to cancel this session," but that's fine. The key is you may want to talk about that, one-on-one, and it's okay to be a little bit more stronger and then say, hey, listen, what can I do? How can I help you to be on time, right? What helps you? Coach them on the same issue. What is causing that behavior? It's a behavior issue, right? And that's what we do as coaches. We help people change the behavior. So use your sessions to do that. Deep dive. What are those things? Has it been a habitual problem? Does it have a origination somewhere a long time ago? Maybe childhood. I had a client that was the issues with childhood. Only one client that I had to recommend that he takes a therapy, go to therapists. I don't normally do that and never get in space, but he agreed with me that my wife also tells me that I should go to a therapist. But yeah, do coaching on this particular thing and saying, what are the root causes? What is happening? Put them on spot, dig deeper, dive into it, ask them very thorough questions and just listen. Silence is beautiful for us, as coaches. I love the silence. I just observe them and observe the behavior during silence. Are they taking a deep sigh? Or, oh my God, I don't know. I don't know why Shini asked me this question here. I don't know how to answer that question, So observe that. Try this approach. Any other questions? No?
It's 1:02, so I don't know if we want to, whomever wants to stay, maybe we take one more question.
Sure.
Is that okay, Kaleem?
I'll be okay with that if you want to stick around, those who have time, and if you want to connect with me later on, you're welcome to do it also. Yes, please.
Yeah, just really quick, is the Hogan assessment the only one that Ezra takes?
Sorry, again, can you repeat the question, please?
With your work with Ezra, is it only the Hogan assessment that they use, or do they use others?
No, we use others as well too. We use the 360 profiler. Absolutely, yeah, it's very good.
Okay.
I wanted to answer actually the question. I just started going to the women's business. So for all women coaches, there's a women's business network. And I started networking with them, and it's per area, Katy, Spring Branch, wherever you are. It's a very helpful networking event once a month that you can join to promote your business. That was about the question of what other organizations you should belong to. There's a question about, do these sessions qualify for ICF recertification? No, they're not. We just created this to learn from each other. The ICF Houston does this on our own. How do we find, Kaleem, this is for you. How do you find your executive coaching clients?
Yeah, so one is through Ezra, of course. So I don't have to worry about it. It's automatic, right? When they start a new program with a company, they will ask me if I have bandwidth in my weekly schedule. If I say yes, if I want to get it, Yes. If not, then I have my personal client is word of mouth. Yeah. So typically, I started out with, actually, it's very interesting. So when I was with, I had clients who was a career transition client, and I eventually became my coach. I mean, my coachee, and then word of mouth goes around and so forth like that. So that's what I get most of my clients. I don't have to sort of go to social media or anything like that, and that's balances my schedule. It works out good for me. Yeah, and I also do some nonprofit work as well too, by the way, with a local nonprofit organization for women. And so sometimes the clients of theirs, they go to, I'm their career transition client, so I'll help them with resumes, and I help them with the interview process because they never had work before and so forth like that. So I also get them ready, but also use a lot of coaching techniques to do that because they have no idea sometimes. They just want a job. Get me a job, get me a job, What can you do? What are you good at? So that's why the coaching comes in, and it's amazing that it just turned around. So it helps.
Excellent. What's the difference between executive coaching and leadership coaching, Kaleem?
Yeah, what is it? Tell me. Somebody tell me from the group. I'm going to throw back at you. Just get you want to hear your thoughts. So leadership coaching is a part of executive coaching. In executive coaching, you have lots of goals and objectives and so forth like that. And leadership is one of them, right? So a lot of managers, they actually come to us, and then they may have, how do I develop leadership skills? How do I have executive presence, right? And so there is a difference between a manager and a leader, so to speak. And this is very important to identify that what does a leader do, what does a manager do, and so forth like that. And so you may want to teach them, or coach them actually, the leadership. What is a leadership? What do they see in a leader versus a manager, and so forth like that? And who is their favorite world personality as a leader? And that gets you into conversation. So yeah, that's how I do it.
I think that those are all the questions. Kaleem, thank you so much on behalf of the team here and the ICF Houston. We really appreciate your time and all the wisdom you share with us. And we will have Kaleem in, I believe, April, right, Kaleem, again? May.
Yeah.
In May. So make sure you join us also in May, but we'll have somebody else in April. Thank you, everyone, for staying this late.
Thank you.
For joining us. Have
Appreciate
a
it.
wonderful week. Thank you, Kaleem.
Thank you so much. I
Thank
really
you.
enjoyed it. Thank you. Chris, did I answer your question, by the way? You had a question in the beginning. Please.